we sought to find was a contemporary world in which Lear was a bully, a dictator, someone who had not heard the word no for 20 years.
Attend the lords of France and Burgundy, Gloucester.
I shall, my liege.
And the first thing he said to me was, would you please shave your hair off? And I knew exactly what he meant.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose.
Because I know I can look a bit like Santa Claus. And I don't want that. I want to be tougher than that.
Simon, he's very humane, he's a very gentle man. And I think I always felt like the second half of the play was in his sweet spot. But the really difficult task is to play someone at the beginning who is feared.
Now our joy, although our last and least. What can you say? To draw a third more opulent than your sisters, speak.
Nothing, my lord.
The most difficult thing in the play is to make Cordelia saying nothing make sense.
Nothing will come of nothing, speak again.
We've all watched Lear and thought, oh, go on, just tell him you love him. It's so much easier. You don't have to mean it. Just tell him, But she won't do it. She's not going to play the game.
I think she knows just how great Lear was once, and that has disappeared as it becomes more of a dictatorship. She really believes it's the right thing not to flatter and pander to him like she's seen her sisters do.
I feel so angry with Cordelia. If only she had just towed the line, none of this would happen.
Oh, so he'd be living with her?
He'd be living with her because he says, I was hoping you'd look after me.
We were very, very conscious not to go down the evil stepsisters route, the sort of interchangeable Regan and Goneril. They're both nasty and they stand next to each other the whole time in sort of matching dresses. But I also think that Goneril's issue is quite different from Regan's.
He gives up everything, and then he expects to come and stay in the Schlick Gonerils. They don't have a great relationship anyway, with 100 guys in tow. Of course it's not appropriate. And why would either of them want it, and why would he assume that that's okay?
Regan, she's a clever one. She definitely uses the daughter-father flirty relationship brilliantly. And I think he finds that very attractive.
He's convinced that she is gentle and loving, and I think the greatest shock for Lear in the first half of the play is that Regan does not embrace him and bring him in. And it's she who really cuts him off and encourages Goneril to do the same.
They throw him out into a storm. He's a very, very old man with nowhere to go. It is a totally brutal act.
I think every actor who's played him must have thought, is he already suffering from some type of breakdown? And is he aware of it? And the Lear that I play, I think, is aware. And the irrational anger is part of the frightening symptoms of the disease that he can recognise. I thought this looks suspiciously like the symptoms of dementia. I have a family of medics, and my nephew, who's at medical school, found this article analysing King Lear's symptoms as Lewy body dementia. And then I met a geriatrician, and she pointed me in the direction of certain physical symptoms, which is actually the most useful thing.
Lewy body dementia is characterised by visual hallucinations, fluctuating confusion, so it comes and goes, and movement problems.
It's related to Parkinson's, so there's a particular type of shake in the hand.
They sometimes also get jerky movements, and their walking can become shuffling, and Simon wondered whether that was something he could bring into his interpretation.
Lear suffers hallucinations. He sees dogs, he sees a mouse.
Come, I'll button here.
People lose their inhibitions. They do things that they wouldn't normally do. So taking clothes off in an inappropriate place, making sexual comments that in no other time in their life would they have behaved like that.
I wasn't doing an exact replica. It's just that I thought Shakespeare, being the observer that he was, must have seen somebody, must have known somebody who suffered from what we would now call dementia. When he finally mentions the word mad, when he says to the fool, "Oh, let me not be mad," it's the first time he's said it, but he's been thinking of it for a long time. And I think the pain of losing one's mind and knowing one's losing one's mind is a terrible, terrible thing.
He ends up with just the fool on the heath. And it seems to me that the play is about stripping away home and rank and status, and even sanity. And in that respect, also the great play about homelessness, and about what it means to have nothing. Magnified all the more because these are people who've had everything.